Hello, everyone. This is Kleros Community Call, Wednesday, 27th of March. Hard to believe that March is almost done. Well, time flies. Let me see some of the things that we were doing this week. Myself in particular is a bit of thinking about product strategy. We, as you know, Kleros has lots of different products that were built over time because, as you know, Kleros is a very generic technology that can be used for lots of different use cases, including like escrow disputes, like curation, some Oracle, use cases. So as time went and as we built more and more products, so the complexity started to grow, and so it's from time to time it's important that you go to the garden and take cut some old trees, some branches, or maybe sometimes merge different things that were a bit separated, but that could be in the same group or could be part of the same brand. So to simplify things, to make it easier to manage for the organization on the one hand, and also for making it more understandable for people who see this from the outside. So, for example, this week we have been discussing and rethinking of how we should address curation use cases. So we had a curate and we had the scout and we had the perma curate. So how to bring all this into a more simple way to understand for everyone, and also as something is simpler to understand, it's also simpler to sell by Kleros to potential partners. So lots of my week went into having different meetings with different product teams that we have, and thinking how we should address these different products for helping them become like more successful. I will maybe let a bit Alex jump in here, as we have been doing some thinking regarding the Kleros Snap. So yeah, I will let you comment a bit on what this is doing now, and what we are rethinking about the future, and how what are our goals with this rethinking of the product and the way we communicate it. Without going into much detail, because it is an ongoing thing, but yeah, you can explain a bit to the community. I'm sure they will want to know.
Thank you, Federico. So yeah, as you mentioned, basically, we think it's a good time to just first have a look of basically what Kleros could bring for DAOs. So I think we are brainstorming and taking this strategic overview of this specific subsector or sub area, because as you say, Kleros can do a lot of things, a lot of use cases at a lot of different levels. So academic, for corporation, Web 2, Web 3, curation, but one specific area is DAOs. So we are focusing on these DAO sectors. And yes, as you know, we have our Kleros snapshot module. Initially it was called Kleros Safe Snap. I think this product is very interesting and very resilient. We have this use case with 1inch that is using it for almost 2 years. Everything is going perfectly well. They are happy with it. I think we could get even more traction with this specific product. The interesting part with Kleros, it's like we can do a lot of different things. It's like Kleros as an oracle is allowing to deal with complex use cases, and also the design of our product allow us to basically custom and tailor as well the product as we want, with specific rules and policies. And we also have some resources. Facundo, that joined the team, is our policy writer. So he could also basically design policy in a specific way. So yeah, that's what we are in our mind. currently, basically where to focus, because there are many possibilities. Currently, I'm in Argentina. I met a guy here locally that is building like a private investment fund on crypto, basically, and we are thinking about integrating Kleros in different ways. It could be thanks to this module. It could be a way basically to, if the manager of the fund, because it's a private fund, is not answering, basically Kleros could be here just to withdraw the fund. So all of these use cases make it very exciting, and I guess for different projects and DAOs in Web3, bringing a lot of value. So that's what we are working on currently.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Maybe you want to comment on, since we are in this same topic, about what happened with the 1 inch. Yeah, go ahead.
No, we can. Recently, we set up the notification for 1 inch, so it's very interesting. You can look at their snapshots. In their snapshots, it was a very big proposal that was pushed in their governance, because it was a proposal for all the events for 1 inch DAO, and this proposal, like the total amount for all these events, it's 1.6 million USDC. So it's very huge amount, and it's very interesting because it was part of their strategy, and they push it through basically our module. So the Zodiac Snapshot module. So they prepare the transaction, they push it to the Reality Oracle. The Reality Oracle basically the question was live, and thanks to our monitoring system here at Kleros, we received the notification. So we were able to check that, and basically after the challenge period of 72 hours, the proposal passed and was executed. So the 1.6 million were sent. So I think it's super powerful to see such optimistic governance process at live. Basically, it's a great way for 1 inch to push their transaction without paying any gas costs, and currently it can be very expensive. So I think it's great to see that at work, and everything working perfectly well with such a big transaction and big amounts. And another thing on the DAO space, I think some of you might have seen it. We were recently registered to the Kleros DAO. So the specific entity of the Kleros DAO was registered in DAO base. This is a website registering all the major DAO in the space. So you can check it out. There are the details basically of our DAOs, and even if you go to 1 inch space, for instance, you could see that on the platform side there is a Kleros logo, because we are the arbitrator for their governance process. So we are securing this. So I think it's super cool to be registered in such websites, and we have a close relationship with the guy from DAO base.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. I mean, since we are speaking of DAO governance, so I also remind you that we are doing on April 12 a conference at Stanford. We are organizing this for gathering, some of the highest level, thinker, researchers, and practitioners in the DAO governance space. So if you happen to be in the Bay Area, so April 12, we will discuss things like the best practices in DAO governance. Some of the things I presented in my last ETHCC talk about how to build a DAO with separation of powers, how to avoid situations where the governance gets attacked by a populist, for example, how to build these systems so they are at the same time more secure and also more responsive to the needs and to the desires of the community, and also inclusive in the sense of giving voice and vote to as much people as possible who participate in the DAO. So there are lots of open questions, and there are a lot of governance dramas happening when these things are not very well organized and designed. For example, if you want to learn a bit more, you can read the paper that was written by Jamilia, Tara, and Sofia about the governance drama for humanity, that they released the first version of that like months ago, and now this week they just published the second version, which I have already read, and I strongly recommend. It's great. And so are all of the things that we are going to cover in this conference. And also, one of the hottest topics now in the field of governance is how to have interactions between, blockchains and AI, in the sense of AI, the need for having like a transparent way to control what AI are doing, because they can potentially have bad results, in the sense of giving results that are biased against some group of people, or other situations that we are just starting to understand. So we think that blockchains, and basically also in general systems of decision making, such as Kleros, which are neutral, impartial, can be a way that we can implement to control what AI systems do, because AI systems basically are, at their core, they are just a black box doing decisions with statistical methods and not explaining why they decide what they decide, and this can affect the rights of people. So this is going to be one of the things I'm going to we're going to discuss at Stanford. And since only one conference at Stanford is not enough for Kleros, we're also going to have another one in May that's going to be more focused on dispute resolution and new technologies. So with also like a interesting view of how this design of the dispute systems of the future is going to be also a combination of AIs and crowdsourcing. I don't want to say much more because still the conference is under organization and we don't have yet the final date, but it's going to be maybe May 2nd or May 6th. So, I mean, if you are there, of course, try to stay those 2 dates until we confirm the exact one. So yeah, I'm going to say more about this maybe next week when we have more clarity on the dates and the lineup of speakers. But this is going to be really, really interesting. With this, I will give the stage to William. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, all those the research is, interesting things we think about, like the sort of blockchain and AI interactions. In terms of what I've been thinking about sort of recently, I've calculated a bunch of parameters that I'm going to propose to the forum soon, to like accommodate the sort of recent price movements and gas spikes and things in the crypto markets. So, anyone can propose parameters to Kleros. Sometimes other people who have not me propose, individual parameters for certain courts. But I have a global proposal that I'm going to propose soon. So when that comes, I invite everyone to interact and, give their thoughts. I'm not a juror in every court, so I, don't have as much practical experience as maybe some of you. So other than that, continuing to think about the same kinds of research topics we've been thinking about, peer prediction type of schemes that could potentially be used to change incentive mechanisms in some courts in V2, taking advantage of V2's flexibility, so that you can have, sort of parameters that are more adapted to cases, particularly when there's like a really strong imbalance between the rate at which different options win. If you have a curated list where reject wins 95% of the time, how can you like design that system well without getting really large deposits, for example? Continuing to think about soul-bound tokens and how they can be used in juror selection, and the types of research topics I've discussed in previous community calls.
Thank you, William. What if there is some member of the community based in the UK and he wants to meet you at some point in the future? Would there be a possibility about that?
Yes, there will in a few weeks. So I'm going to be speaking at the Cambridge Arbitration Day. I'm going to be on a panel talking about a sort of dispute resolution systems and arbitration kind of in the internet age. And that is on April 20th, I believe. So if you're in Cambridge or nearby on April 20th, feel free to come to that event, and I'd be happy to talk to people.
Cool. So there you go. If you're in the UK and want to meet William, there you can see him at Cambridge or maybe at Oxford at some point. Who knows? Yeah, let's not say anything for now, William. Okay, good. Thank you. Let's go to Jean. What community news do we have for now?
Well, this week we had a community member share a dashboard. I believe the community, his name is Koilin. I don't know how to pronounce it. It has.
Kue, yeah. He's from Japan.
Kue.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And he made a dashboard about Kleros Curate, and it shows that we are at the all-time high submissions for the month. And there's still a couple of days before the month ends, so that's it's pretty nice. And it's I would like to remind people listening that the incentive program is ongoing, so there are still rewards for submitting items to our tags, our contract lists, and our domain lists. And this is also some of the one of the products that Federico was mentioning, that we are we are basically creating this product strategy, and so it's important to send more items to the list, since when the list is complete, it ends up creating a better product. And I believe we have right now probably one of the biggest and more complete lists that you can add, for example, on a decentralized exchange. So that's a great accomplishment. Where else? I think, Alex already mentioned that we were added to DAO base. It's nice that you can, for example, check for analytics, for proposals, and how many people voted in which proposal. And it's easier for people that want to join DAOs or find new protocols. They will probably.
Okay, well, yeah, I think you got. Can you hear me, Jean? I mean, can the rest hear me, or is it me who had the problem?
I can hear you, Fede.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. Well, Jean fixes his sound. Okay. Here he is again. Are you there, Jean?
Yes, I believe my internet is cutting. So,
yeah. You go ahead. Now we can hear you.
I will just say that we also have the gaming and esports event coming next month. It will be at the University of Neuchâtel, right, Federico? And
yeah, I totally forgot about that. So many events going on. Yeah.
And it's free to register. It will be streamed, and it's also one of the areas that we are pretty excited about. And another one is the.
Let me give a bit more context about that. So I mean, because there's going to be like two events. So there's going to be one event that is going to be on the 31 of May, that is organized by the University of Neuchâtel and the Lextech Institute, that is part of that university. It's one of the most important in Switzerland, and there is big researcher of Kleros called Florence Guillaume, who is a professor there, and she's one of the world, academic experts in decentralized justice, and she wrote a extremely well-researched and interesting paper where she, brings to the table, lots of different ideas about decentralized justice. What are the legal ideas behind it? What are the use cases? What are the challenges? So Florence, follow her on LinkedIn, or I think she's more on LinkedIn than Twitter. But so she's one of the people who are pushing forward decentralized justice and Kleros among those. And so she is putting together this conference on May 31 on dispute resolution, decentralized justice for content moderation. So as you know, we have been researching the use case of content moderation and for Kleros for a long time. If you see the original paper that was mentioned already, we already were foreseeing 6 years ago that you would need a neutral system for resolving disputes in social media about whether some comment breaks or not the rules of terms and conditions. So all of those things we have been advocating for a long time, and that we actually put into practice when we developed Kleros Moderate and Susi, the bot that you can see moderating different groups. So this is now a reality, and this is becoming part of the research agenda of universities. And when this happens, this means that it's also starting to come into the mainstream industry. So these are things that are being discussed now in the big social media platforms. There's lots of objections on how these platforms manage the content moderation because of things that you already know, because you are on the internet and you know about the fake news, harassment, lots of different things that need some resolution system, and Kleros can do that. We have done that for a long time, but we were early in the sense that people still didn't see the idea of content moderation as something that had to be done by impartial jury. People were seeing that more like a thing that was part of a company service that gives you social connectivity service with your friends, and then part of that service is content moderation. We have seen that approach of internet content moderation can be problematic because there's no accountability. More and more of our lives are going through those platforms. If you are banned unfairly from one of those platforms, Twitter bans you, Facebook or Instagram, whatever, if they ban you from the platform, you might lose access to all of your friends. You might lose access to your business if you use this to get customers or to communicate with customers. So this is why some people among us are starting to believe that this needs a more comprehensive solution and a more transparent solution. So these are all of the things that are going to be discussed in May 31 at the Neuchâtel. I was invited as speaker. I'm going to speak of my experience, of our experience with content moderation, Susi, and I'm going to explain also a bit of how we imagine Susi to evolve into the future. For now, it has only been a test phase, and now we are going to try to push this a bit further. So that's going to be interesting. So May 31. And since we are there, why not put together another event that's going to happen on May 30, as Jean said. This is going to be focused on another use case that we have been advocating for a long time, that is resolving disputes in the world of esports and gaming. You already know that Vitalik had the idea of starting Ethereum because I think, what was the game he played? He was playing this game and it was updated.
World of
Warcraft.
World
of Warcraft, yeah, correct. So he lost his progress, and so he got pissed, and he said, "We need a credibly neutral mechanism to, have a, for the game not to screw up, in arbitrary and unilateral way their users." So this is, long story short, what happened that gave him the idea to start Ethereum, and so lots of those games are going to have disputes. Some of them are going to be disputes that already happen in the world of social media, like IP copyright. I take a video from anyone and I upload it as if it was mine. So there is already YouTube already has some system called Content ID that combines AI and human moderators to decide if that video is or not copyright infringing. So this already exists in that world. Some of those disputes also happen in games. Others are more about cheating, and there are tournaments and games are becoming more important, and so as they become more important, and there is more, not just money, but also as there is more sense of pride at play, being the best one. So there are more disputes, and these disputes need to be solved, we think, in a more neutral way, and not just by the game owner, because they start to affect rights that people see as important. So we have been researching this use case for a while with the World Intellectual Property Organization. We have already said this in public, but it's mostly holding lots of meetings of customer discovery with different actors of the esports and gaming industry, like publishers, people who run game associations, where they organize the tournaments. That's like the institutions, like equivalent of the FIFA of games, to try to understand how the different stakeholders see this problem of dispute resolution in gaming. And we think we have some ideas of how this could work. And we will do this conference on May 30. Since I'm going to be in Switzerland, I can come one day earlier, and we invited a bunch of people of different, as I said, different parts of the industry. Some of them are going to be streamers, others, game publishers, others are like players, others are managers, owners of teams. So there's a bunch of different agents that are for this, participate in this industry. And we will have a very, I'm sure, interesting discussion on how this works now, how we think it could work in the future, and how we think, we could help. So May 30, game and esport dispute solution. 31, content moderation. So Jim, you can continue.
I think that's it for upcoming events. One event that I would like to mention is the AMA that you had with the Nigerian community. If you like to mention that, I think it was pretty nice. I saw the chats and the conversations.
I think Shari is here. He can tell us about that himself, as he organized it. Are you there, Shari? Well,
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, okay. For some reason, my speaker just stopped. You guys are not loud again, but the event was actually really good. So it was an AMA with Blockchain Nigeria user group. So it is no news that we are exploring, market expansion, and Africa, of course. Nigeria is one of our main markets, is one of our main lead as the second, most adopted country of cryptocurrency and blockchain. So, we are taking a lot of initiatives. We had the webinar with NBA the other day. We have other events coming up. And last Friday, we had an AMA with this Blockchain Nigeria user group. It was a very engaging session, to say the least. I know Federico and I, we were so, excited. As always, to talk about Kleros to these people that were curious, asking lots of questions. We had some of them join the Telegram chat immediately after the AMA. So it was really good. It was really good. And I think, going down to the community, going down base, actually going into these Telegram groups and chats to connect with these people is, one of the easiest way to grow a connection, grow a community from scratch. Of course, we're taking measures to expand on much larger scales, but this is just the beginning of great things. So occasionally we'll give updates on what's happening with events and all of that, but then it looks really, really good for Kleros in the Nigerian legal and blockchain space. So I'm excited always to talk about this. and to just share more updates on that. But basically, that's the summary of Nigeria and Kleros.
Thank you, Sherry. And yeah, I mean, we are, so Nigeria is a big country, and we also have some followers there. Some of the participants in our fellowship are from Nigeria. It's worth mentioning Buki, who is like a very important lawyer in the legal innovation ecosystem in Nigeria, and he's very active in events and in legal groups. So she's always promoting Kleros. So she's so she's great, and this is helping us a lot into expanding into those markets, and lots of different things going to come. We are going to do some workshop as those workshops we do where we explain people how to use Kleros. We did a few weeks ago one in Mendoza in Argentina in the judiciary, where a bunch of lawyers, judges, some of them they had the chance to use Kleros in a setting into the classroom in the judiciary in Mendoza, organized by a Supreme Court judge there, and that's how people get their hands dirty with the use of Kleros, and so not just speak about Kleros, but also see and use it themselves and see how it can actually work. So those type of workshops have been extremely good for expanding awareness in lots of different places. So we did. So as you know, Jan is our researcher is in the US and stay at Stanford, and he went to some of these workshops. 1 second, I think there's something. Can you hear me? Because can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Because I thought
we can hear you.
Something wrong with my AirPods, but it's okay. So yeah, I mean, he did a bunch of these workshops. One at the State University of Ohio, where Amy Schmitz is there. So he's one of the big teachers of decentralized justice or dispute resolution online in the US, and she's the co-author of Colin Rule in this very famous book, The New Handshake. And she invited Jan to give the workshop. Then he did one at the University of Miami. So I mean, we are expanding this because it's very successful as a way to spread awareness of Kleros. And so I'm looking forward to do this in Nigeria. We will also have one to be done in Pakistan, and I don't even know where else, but yeah, there's a bunch more. So we have that, which is super cool, and also we're going to be participating in some event also in Nigeria, in like a larger Web3 event. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. I don't think I have anything else to share. I think we already shared lots of things. So yeah, I mean, thank you, everyone. Oh, one last thing, maybe. Well, today we don't have Marcos with the business development update. So as you know, there is like Easter and there's people in vacation. So we don't have that, but we have now Wang Mian, who is going to be in a better time zone for joining the community call. So I'm going to ask him to come maybe next week or the other, so he can give you like an update of business development, because he's in Asia, and I mean, it's like a 3 a.m. for him to call, and so it's let him sleep. But now that he's temporarily in Europe, I mean, we will have him, and I will also ask JB to come to present about the progress on V2. Now we are working on notifications and fixing lots of backend stuff that were like technical debt that in the past meant that you wanted to have a notification for cases and you didn't get them because of bot problems and stuff. Okay, well guys, thank you very much for coming, and see you next week, and happy Easter to everyone.
Everyone,
bye.
happy.
See you.
Bye.